can't get you out of my mind. It's like I feel it for the first time. Been thinking about you all night. I've been searching for this all my life. You're just my type.
Hey guys, it's Cameron. Welcome back to Life of a Dev, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to send an email using the Node mailer package in Node.js. We're actually going to be completing this application in my series on how to build a Node.js application. In the two previous tutorials, in the last tutorial I showed you guys how to add the items to the database using Mongoose. We were using a MongoDB database. If you haven't seen that video, links will be in the description, as well as to the playlist. And then in the very first video, I showed you guys how to scrape a website using Puppeteer. In this case, we were using the Puppeteer marketplace to scrape iPhone 8s off of Facebook Marketplace and then add them to the database. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to send an email using Node Mailer. In particular, we're going to be sending SMS messages to my cell phone or text messages to my cell phone through email of these new items that hit the marketplace. So basically what this application will do when it's done is it will search the marketplace ever so often. If the item's in the database already, it won't do anything. It will just say items already added to the database, which was in the last video. If it's not in the database, it will add the item to the database, and then it will send an email to my phone or a text message to my phone, including a picture of the item, the title of the item, the price of the item, and then a link to the actual Facebook Marketplace post. So basically, I will be the first one to see any of these posts, unless someone else has Node application that does this as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. The first thing we're going to want to do is install Node Mailer. So in my terminal, we're going to go npm I node mailer. Let's go ahead and hit enter, and this will install the package required. The next thing we're going to want to do is create a new folder. We'll just call it config, and then in this config folder, we're going to create a file called keys.js. And in here, we're going to set up all our keys that are needed for the Node Mailer. I'm doing this so that way you guys won't be able to see my email address or my phone number, but you could just have this information in the objects that Node Mailer needs. So what I'm going to be doing is we'll do a module.exports equals just an object, and we will have something that's called email from, and this will be your email at your email provider.com. The next thing will be the email password. I will just call it email pass, and this will be your password. And for this email address up here, and then the last one we'll have is email to. So this will be the email you're sending, the email where you want to send it to. In my case, it will be a phone number, so we will do 555-555-555 at. You're going to need your SMS gateway. So here's a list of all the SMS gateway providers. I'll have a link in the description to this. This is basically just the US and Canada based. You're going to want the MMS gateway domain because we're going to be sending an image. So like if you had AT&T, it would be at mms.att.net, and then go ahead and save that file. I'm going to fill in my real information, and then I'm going to close this file so that way you guys won't be able to see the real information, but my real information will be in this file. So I'm going to do that now. Once that's done, I'll meet you guys back on this index.js file. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I filled out my information in this keys.js file, my real information, So I won't be opening that file again, but go ahead and put all your information in there that you need. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go, we'll be using Gmail. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to myaccount.google.com/less-secure-apps. I have multiple Gmail accounts, so that's what this U5 is. It's user 5. But if you only have one Gmail, it will just be myaccounts.google.com/less-secure-apps. And you just want to make sure that allow less secure apps is on. This will ensure that we're able to use our Gmail account to send emails through NodeMailer. Once you do that, you can go ahead and close out of this web browser here. And what we'll do is, so we have our key or our config.key file set up with all your information in it. And you also have NodeMailer installed. So let's go ahead and bring NodeMailer in here. NodeMailer. And that'll be equal to require NodeMailer. And then the next thing we're going to want to do is also bring in our keys. So we'll just bring it in here underneath our item schema. So we'll just call it keys equals require config/keys. And once we have those two things added, what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the add to database function we created in the last video. And right in this then statement, we're going to add brackets, which will allow us to have multiple lines of code in here. And then we're just going to have a return statement. Return. And so basically we just have, it's going to, my prettier fixed it because it's redundant. Well, it was redundant. So within here, we're going to create a constant variable called mail options. And that will be equal to just an empty object for now. So your then statement should look like this. It should be then arrow function, open curly brackets, close curly brackets, and then in between that you should have a constant variable of node options, which should be set to an empty object, and then your return statement, which is item title added to database. So then at the very top of the file, or right above add to database, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to create a transporter. So we'll go const, and we only want to create this once because this is what actually does the authorization to the account. So we don't want to create this every single time we add a new item to the database, and that's why we're creating it up here. But we'll just call it transporter is equal to NodeMailer. Oh, I spelled NodeMailer wrong. NodeMailer.create transport, and this is going to be set to an object, and we're going to have our SMTP options. So one of them is the service, and the service property is going to be set to Gmail because that's what we're going to be using. And then the second one is the auth, which is another property, and that's going to be set to an object with a key of user, and the user key will be set to our keys.email from. This is where you could just put your email if you wanted to, but I'm setting it to email from, that way you guys can't see it. And then the password, which will be pass, and that will be set to keys.emailPass. So once we have that, that's our transporter set up. That's all good and dandy, and we're done with that. In this mail options here, we're going to go back down to this mail options object, and we are going to do from. and the from will be keys.email from, and then we will have to, which will be keys.email to. We will have a subject, which will be, this will just be the item title. So the title of the actual item that we grabbed from Facebook. You can set it to whatever. Obviously, if you were sending an email, you'd have it set to something different, but for this purposes, we're going to be setting it to the item title. Here, you could do an HTML email and just have all your HTML here. But since we're going to be sending a text message or a multimedia message, we're actually going to have a variable called text, and we're going to have some backticks, and then that way we can break into JavaScript, and we can just have something that says item title, and then we'll do \n, that stands for new line. So we'll drop down two empty lines, and then we'll break back into JavaScript, and we'll have our item price. And then same thing, \n, and then we want the actual link to the item. So we'll do item URL. And then after our text property, we want an attachments property. And this is going to be an array of objects. And we're only going to have one attachment, and this is going to be the image. And what we're going to have in this attachment is you're going to need a file name. In our case, it's just going to be set to image.jpg. And then you're going to need a path to this image. And in our case, it's going to be our item image, which is the URL. And then that is our mail options. So far we've created a transporter to find what service we have, and then we've given it an auth property with the username property and the password property, which comes from our config file, which has our information in it. And then we have declared a mailer options object, which has the from property, so who the email is from, who we're sending it to, the email address or phone number or whatever you're sending it to, the subject of the email, the text, the actual text of the email. Like I said, if you're doing an HTML email, you can do HTML. And then we're sending an attachment property, which is an object or array of objects, because you could have multiple attachments. In our case, we only have one, which is has a file name of image.jpg and a path that leads to our image URL. So once we have that, we can drop below this mail options, and we actually want to send the email. So what we'll do is we'll do transporter.sendMail, and this is a method of the transporter object that we created here. And it's going to take in our mail options, and it's also going to have a callback where we will collect any errors. And what we'll do is we'll go if errors, then we want to console.log we'll just do email error, and we actually want to return that, so that way it doesn't continue to run. And then if there's no error, we will return console.log of email sent, and we'll just do successfully. Email sent successfully. Okay. So that's basically it. So all you need to send an email with NodeMailer is this transporter object, the mail or the mail options object, and then you need to do transporter.sendMail and pass in your mail options and then collect any errors, or you really don't sorry, this darn cold. You really don't need to collect any of the errors, but we are. You can also collect the info, which I normally do, and then I normally console log out the info, but that will have all my private information, which I don't want you guys to see. Same thing with the errors, and that's why we're just doing email error and email sent successfully. So once that's done, we can go ahead and save. There's one more thing. Since we're running this locally, Node isn't going to want to send this email because we don't have any SSL certificate, or we have what's considered a self-signed certificate. So we need to set a specific process to 0, or environment process variable, which is this right here, node_tsl_reject unauthorized. So let's go ahead and set that real quick. So it'd be process.env.node_tls_reject on a UTH unauthorized equal 0. Oop. And that will basically allow us to send the email without having to worry about our self-signed certificate. So I'm going to go into the database here, and I'm going to, I think I have like 41 different items. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete a few of these documents within this database, just so that way when I initiate the scraper, I actually get a few emails to be sent. So I think that should be enough. Let me just delete one more. And then we still have everything else the same. So if we were to run node index.js and hit enter. So all these are already in the database here. Awesome. So we have a few emails. So we should get those here in just a second. And there we are. So now if I open up my email, I have an image, and then I have iPhone 8 64 gig with the price of $320, and then I have a Facebook Marketplace link, which just takes me right to Facebook, and I can ask them if it's still available. So that is awesome. Now, the one thing is this doesn't run consecutively. So once this is done running, it's not going to run ever again unless we were to rerun it. So let's make it so that this program will run over and over and over again consistently. That way we can just leave this running. We can throw it up on a server or something. We can throw it up on like an AWS server for free, and it would run for free, or you can throw it up on a DigitalOcean server and it would run for very, very cheap, like $5 a month. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me show you how to do that. So let's go ahead and cancel it. And instead of just initiate scraper, what we want to use is a function called setInterval, which allows us to run a consistent loop, or it allows us to run a function every so often. So just for an example, let's run an arrow function, and we'll just console log hello world. And we will console log hello world every 2 seconds. So it uses milliseconds. So we will connect to our database, but we won't initiate the scraper. So we should just get a log of hello world over and over and over again. So let's go ahead and just see that. And that's just another text message, probably from the node scraper. So connected to database, hello world, 1, 2, hello world. So as you see, every 2 seconds, it's just going to console log hello world, and this would happen forever until we were to cancel the program, or there would be some type of error which would make the program crash. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel it. As you see, though, it is console logging hello world every 2 seconds. So instead of console logging something, we want to run our initiate scraper function. Now we don't want this to run every 2 seconds though. We really only want it to run maybe like every 10 minutes, and this is in milliseconds. So 1 second is 1,000, so that would run every second. That would run every 10 seconds. So we can actually, let me just open up Google and we'll just go seconds to milliseconds. And that way we can, or let's do minutes actually. I don't know why I did seconds to milliseconds. Let's do minutes. So we want it to be every 10 minutes. So it'd be every 600,000 milliseconds. And then if we were to hit save and we were to run this, so this would sit here for 10 minutes, but after 10 minutes it would run this function, which would then get the list of items from Facebook, and then it would add them to the database. If they're in the database, it will just return items already in the database. If they're not in the database, it will save the new item to the database, and if that's done successfully, then we email that item to our phone. So that is how you build a, I guess this would be like an intermediate Node.js application. What we've done here is we've scraped a website with Puppeteer. We've added those items into a database using Mongoose and MongoDB. And we have now sent the notification to our phones using NodeMailer and Gmail. If you guys have any questions, don't forget to leave a comment down below, and I will try to help you in any way I can. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.